There comes a moment in every life when the air around you begins to feel heavier, denser, almost electric, as if something unseen is rearranging itself just beyond the edge of perception, preparing to reveal a truth that has been following you for years in silence. You may not have realized it, but every detour, every heartbreak, every delay, every unexpected loss, and every person who drifted out of your world was part of a larger orchestration that has been slowly aligning itself in your favor, even during seasons when you felt forgotten, abandoned, or misunderstood by everyone around you. There are forces at work beyond your logical comprehension, shaping your path with a precision that borders on the supernatural. And lately, you've probably sensed it. A strange intensity in the atmosphere, an unexplainable pull toward something bigger, a quiet realization that the version of you who existed a year ago, a month ago, even a week ago, could never survive where you're about to be taken. You have been shedding old versions of yourself the way trees shed leaves in autumn, not because you were broken, but because growth demanded it, destiny demanded it, and your spirit knew it was time long before your mind caught up. You felt the tension, the pressure, the internal cracking of old beliefs and outdated loyalties, and even though it confused you at first, you're starting to recognize it for what it truly is. The final stretch before a breakthrough that will redefine your entire identity. There are people who think they know you, who think they can predict your moves, your reactions, your future. But they have no idea what has been awakening inside you. No idea how much strength you gained from experiences that were meant to destroy you. No idea how deeply your intuition has sharpened, or how fiercely your spirit has been preparing for a level of elevation they are not even qualified to witness. You grew in silence. You healed in shadows. You transformed in rooms where no one applauded, no one encouraged, no one understood. And because of that, what is forming around you now carries a power that cannot be debated, dismissed, or diminished by anyone who once underestimated you. Life has been slowly bending itself toward your favor, even when it looked like everything was collapsing. Because sometimes destruction is the only language the universe can use to get your attention. You were never being punished. You were being positioned. You were never being ignored. You were being hidden until the right moment. You were never losing. You were being recalibrated into someone stronger, wiser, more intuitive, more aligned, more discerning. And now the timing has shifted. Now the energy has changed. Now the pathways that were blocked for years are loosening, the doors that refused to open are trembling, and the opportunities that once passed you by are circling back with urgency, because you have become the version of yourself who can finally handle what you've been asking for. The signs have been everywhere. Your sudden restlessness, your dreams becoming more vivid, your old fears dissolving, your tolerance shrinking for shallow connections and empty conversations, your desire growing for authenticity, purpose, depth, and truth. It is not by accident that the wrong people are drifting away from you, that your spirit no longer allows you to shrink to make others comfortable, that your intuition has become louder than the voices of doubt around you. You are stepping into a season where silence speaks louder than words, where alignment matters more than approval, where your presence alone unsettles those who cannot match your frequency. You may not fully understand the magnitude of what is happening yet, but you can feel it. Something enormous, something overdue, something divinely timed is approaching you like a slow-moving storm, filled with blessings instead of chaos, clarity instead of confusion, expansion instead of lack. Your life is being rearranged in ways that will shock the same people who thought your story was finished. They have no idea that you were only in incubation, that your spirit was gathering strength, that your purpose was sharpening, that your calling was amplifying. And now, every step you take from this moment forward is going to unfold like a revelation, like a prophecy finally coming to life, like the universe whispering, "This is why it took so long. This is why it felt so heavy. This is why you had to wait." Because the version of you emerging now is not the person who hoped for change. You are the change. You are the shift. You are the answered prayer walking in human form. And the world is about to witness what happens when someone who was counted out rises anyway, grows anyway, heals anyway, and transforms into a force that nothing and no one can interfere with. You are stepping into a timeline that was always yours, but one you could only reach by surviving everything that once tried to break you. And now, chosen one, as you stand on the edge of this invisible threshold, something within you has already shifted, already clicked into place, already aligned with a destiny that feels both familiar and entirely new, as if you've lived it before in dreams or memories from another lifetime. You are no longer who you were, not even close, because there is a level of awareness you carry now that cannot be undone. A clarity that separates you from the person you used to be, and from the people you used to tolerate. You've begun to see through illusions you once mistook for truth, through intentions you once believed were pure, through connections that once felt secure, but were actually draining the life out of your spirit. You've learned to read energies instead of words, patterns instead of promises, consistency instead of charm, and because of that, your world has started to reshape itself in ways that even you struggle to fully explain. People who once intimidated you no longer hold any power over your mind. Situations that once triggered anxiety no longer shake your inner stability. Wounds that once felt permanent have transformed into wisdom you can now recognize as sacred armor. Every version of you that suffered, doubted, and cried in silence is now standing behind you as a silent army, pushing you forward with the strength of someone who refuses to repeat the cycles that once kept them small. And the universe has seen that. It has watched your private battles, your internal wars, the nights you broke down, the mornings you rose anyway, the moments you wanted to give up but still kept moving through the fog of uncertainty. That persistence, that resilience, that unbreakable spirit is the exact reason why your life is shifting so dramatically right now. You've entered a season where your energy speaks before you do, where your presence changes the atmosphere of every room, where people feel something around you they can't fully name, but they know it matters. Some will be drawn to it, mesmerized by it, magnetized without understanding why. Others will be threatened, intimidated, unsettled, because your evolution exposes their stagnancy, your clarity reveals their confusion, your rising highlights their refusal to grow. But none of that is your concern anymore. You've outgrown the need to be understood by those who have not yet learned to understand themselves. You've outgrown the desire to be chosen by people who were never meant to walk beside you in the first place. You've outgrown environments that require you to shrink, silence yourself, or dim your spirit just to fit into spaces that were never built for the person you're becoming. And now, because you stopped fighting for places that rejected you, you are being guided toward places that were designed with your name written into the foundation long before you ever arrived. This is why the pressure felt unbearable at times. This is why the waiting felt endless. This is why nothing made sense until suddenly everything did. Your spirit was not being punished. It was being prepared for a level of elevation that required total transformation. You had to shed the fears inherited from others, release the guilt that never belonged to you, forgive the versions of yourself created in survival mode, and open your hands to receive the life that has been trying to reach you for years. And now that you have, now that you've stepped into alignment, the universe is about to rush toward you with a force that will make everything that once felt delayed arrive all at once. Opportunities will appear out of nowhere. Conversations will open doors you didn't even know existed. People of influence will feel drawn to you without understanding why. Situations that once resisted you will now unfold effortlessly. You will feel as though you are being carried, almost lifted, by something greater than your own strength. Something ancient, something divine, something that has been waiting for you to be ready. And as this acceleration begins, you will also start to notice the quiet unraveling of anything and anyone not meant to continue forward with you. The universe will remove distractions, cut cords, expose hidden truths, and close doors with a firmness that can feel startling at first. But it's only because you are entering a chapter that demands purity, intention, focus, and a level of self-respect that cannot be compromised anymore. You are becoming someone who can no longer settle for half-aligned connections or half-hearted efforts. You are becoming someone who can no longer pretend not to know their worth. You are becoming someone whose destiny is too large to be lived in small spaces. And the world around you will adjust accordingly, sometimes gently, sometimes forcefully, but always with purpose. Because what is coming toward you now is not random, not accidental, not temporary. It is the harvest of every lesson you endured, every moment you kept faith when faith felt impossible, every time you walked alone when you could have settled for company that would have destroyed your future. You have reached the season where your name is being spoken in rooms you have not yet entered, where your gifts are being recognized by people you have not yet met, where your spirit is attracting blessings you once felt unworthy to receive. But that is no longer your reality. You are stepping into a life that finally matches the depth of your heart, the magnitude of your calling, and the strength of your journey. And when the world begins to shift around you, when opportunities appear suddenly, when breakthroughs unfold without warning, when paths open that were once tightly shut, remember this moment. Remember who you had to become to get here. Remember how many times you had to rebuild yourself from ruins. Remember how often your spirit whispered, "Keep going," even when everything around you said, "Stop." Because this, right now, is the moment where everything changes, where everything aligns, where everything you lost is replaced with something better, where your pain transforms into purpose, where your waiting transforms into arrival. And as you step into this new chapter, do it boldly, unapologetically, wholeheartedly. You are ready, you are chosen, you are aligned, and nothing that once tried to break you will ever hold power over you again. And as you cross into this new chapter, something extraordinary begins to unfold within and around you, something that feels like the culmination of every silent prayer, every hidden sacrifice, every moment you kept walking even when your steps felt heavier than your hope. You will start to notice that the world responds to you differently now, not because the world changed, but because you did. You moved from surviving to creating, from waiting to becoming, from questioning your worth to embodying it so completely that even the echoes of your old insecurities can no longer reach you. Everything that once felt impossible will begin to feel natural, almost inevitable, as if it had been waiting patiently behind a veil, watching for the precise moment your spirit grew strong enough to hold the weight of the blessings meant for you. People who never truly saw you will suddenly wonder how they overlooked someone so rare, so driven, so spiritually charged. They will sense the shift in your energy like a tremor, a quiet but undeniable reminder that you have stepped into an identity that no longer requires validation or permission. And while some will be inspired by your rise, others will feel exposed, because your growth will illuminate the places where they chose stagnation over transformation. But you will not shrink yourself to soften their discomfort. Not anymore, not ever again. Because you finally understand that your light was never meant to be dimmed. It was meant to guide, to cleanse, to disrupt, to awaken. You are entering a season where your presence alone will open doors that logic cannot explain, where your intuition will speak louder than the opinions of crowds, where your purpose will pull you forward with a momentum you can feel in your chest before you see it with your eyes. And with every step, You will realize that nothing from your past was wasted. Not the pain, not the betrayal, not the confusion, not the moments you thought were endings, but were really silent beginnings. Every heartbreak stretched your capacity for compassion. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every loss expanded your ability to receive. Every delay protected you from premature breakthroughs that would have shattered you instead of strengthening you. Now you move with a confidence that is quiet, but unshakable. Born not from arrogance, but from the deep knowing that you have survived too much, learned too much, awakened too much to ever go back to versions of yourself that were built on fear and apology. And as this inner transformation radiates outward, you will notice how the universe rearranges itself to match your new frequency. People show up at the right moment. Resources appear when you speak your vision out loud. Synchronicities follow you like constellations guiding you through the night. And the path that once felt uncertain now feels carved with your footprints already etched into the future. You are no longer walking blindly. You are walking in alignment, and alignment creates outcomes that effort alone could never produce. You will find yourself in conversations that shift your trajectory, in rooms where your name carries weight you didn't know it held, in opportunities that feel surreal until you remember that you prayed, bled, and grew for this. And as you step deeper into this season, you will become aware that your destiny is not something you chase. It is something you attract by being who you were always meant to be. This is the era where your spirit becomes undeniable, where your presence becomes unforgettable, where your journey becomes unstoppable. You will realize that choosing yourself was not selfish, it was sacred. Believing in yourself was not delusion, it was prophecy. Healing yourself was not weakness, it was preparation. And the universe, which once felt silent, now begins to echo with affirmation, aligning circumstances in your favor with a precision so divine that even your doubts will bow. This is the moment where the past loosens its grip, the future leans toward you, and the present becomes a doorway you step through with the full force of your rebirth. You are not just entering a new chapter, you are entering a new reality, one built from the clarity of your wounds, the wisdom of your resilience, and the unstoppable momentum of your becoming. And as you rise, steadily, powerfully, unapologetically, you will understand that nothing was ever taken from you. Everything was being prepared for you. And as this new reality forms around you, layer by layer, you will begin to sense an even deeper truth unfolding, something you may have felt in whispers, but never fully understood until now, that you were never walking alone, not even in your darkest seasons, not even in the moments when your heart felt like it was breaking under the weight of battles you didn't have the words to describe. There was always a presence surrounding you, guiding you, pulling you back from the edge when you didn't know how to save yourself, placing light in your path when everything around you felt like shadow, and strengthening your spirit in ways no one else could see. And now that you've stepped into this heightened awareness, you can feel that presence more clearly than ever, not as a distant comfort, but as a constant force orchestrating every detail, aligning every encounter, weaving meaning into moments that once felt random or painful. You will start to understand why certain people appeared when they did, why others had to leave, why some doors slammed shut without explanation, why your heart was pulled toward places or decisions that made no sense at the time. And now, as your spirit expands to meet this destiny, you'll begin to notice the subtle but undeniable shifts happening inside your mind. The way your thoughts are becoming clearer, the way your desires feel more aligned, the way your intuition speaks with a confidence it never had before, the way your dreams no longer feel like fantasies, but previews. You will catch yourself responding differently to things that once triggered you, moving gracefully through situations that once caused fear, and choosing peace in moments where the old you would have chosen chaos. And with each of these shifts, you will begin to trust yourself in a way you never have. Trust your instincts. Trust your timing. Trust your ability to rise no matter what challenges come next. Because you finally understand that strength is not something you build in front of others, but something that forms quietly within you, like roots deepening beneath the soil long before the world ever sees the trees. And alignment will guide you into spaces that once seemed unreachable, into connections that feel divinely timed, into blessings that overflow without you forcing anything. Your days will begin to carry a different atmosphere, a different gravity, as though the universe itself is leaning in your direction, revealing opportunities that feel custom designed for your spirit. You will feel a sense of belonging in places where you once felt invisible, a sense of purpose where you once felt lost, a sense of inner authority where you once felt doubtful. And as your world expands in ways that mirror the expansion of your inner self, you'll notice that even your silence becomes powerful, your presence becomes magnetic, your vision becomes unstoppable. People will sense it in you, the glow of someone who has walked through fire and come out carrying light, the calm of someone who has mastered storms, the depth of someone who has met their own darkness and turned it into wisdom. They will feel it even before they understand it, because transformation leaves an imprint that cannot be hidden or denied. You are stepping into a frequency that only those who have done the inner work can recognize, and as a result, only those who are aligned with your evolution will have access to you. Your boundaries will sharpen, your standards will rise, your heart will become wiser, your journey will become sacred terrain that not everyone is allowed to walk on. And through it all, you will feel a growing sense of gratitude, not just for what you're gaining, but for what you survived, for what you released, for what you outgrew, for who you became. Because now, with every breath, you can feel the truth.